Charlotte's jaw ached from clenching her teeth, and she forced herself to relax. She should be accustomed to these discussions by now. It was different, though, to hear her own family speculate on the identity of the artist while remaining silent. "If the rumours are true," Lillian said as they stopped on the corner across from the inn, "it may be someone local." Tabitha turned to stare at her. "Surely we would know if that were the case." "Whoever it is," Lillian said in her reasonable voice, "he is bound to bring himself trouble. It seems spectacularly unwise to cross such an array of powerful people." Charlotte's heart fluttered nervously. Why did it feel as though everyone's eyes were upon her when they were not? She could not defend the art without the risk of betraying her secret, though, so she chose the alternative. "I, for one, cannot understand what the fuss is. They aren't particularly skillful drawings, are they?" "Not particularly, no," Lillian agreed, making Charlotte's brows draw together in offence. "I quite admire them," Tabitha said. "They are witty and diverting. Did you see the one about Prinny last week?" Charlotte turned her head to hide the smile of satisfaction that stole across her lips. She was not immune to praise, after all. "I think I shall try my luck with the crowd. You go on ahead without me. I need no ribbons." Mamma nodded, and Charlotte parted ways with her family, crossing the street after a cart while the others made their way towards the haberdasher. She was obliged to excuse herself multiple times as she gently shouldered her way to the door of the inn, keeping her gaze away from the caricature. It was not as though its contents were a mystery to her. The mystery, rather, was why it was drawing such attention. This particular piece had been a grasp at straws, for there had been no substantial gossip garnered all week. Charlotte had been obliged to settle for a drawing of Sir Charles Parrington in his conservatory, hands covered in dirt, exotic vegetables popping out of the ground like fireworks, while he smiled maniacally. She had nearly groaned when she had handed the drawing to Mr. Digby, the innkeeper, and the pinching of his lips told her he knew it was unlikely to cause the type of stir he sought. Apparently, they had both been wrong. Plenty of people were finding it interesting enough to stare at for a great while. What would they do if they knew Charlotte held in her reticule the caricature that would appear in the window in a week's time? It was the irony of Charlotte's secret that it not only attracted more and more of the people she so disliked, but it also made her reliant upon everything she most despised about their world: corruption, greed, and invincibility. Without it, she had no material, and without material, she had no money to save against her family's uncertain future. Charlotte pulled open the inn door, and the buzz of conversation within joined that of the people without until she tugged the wooden door closed. A maid named Mary appeared, holding a tray with 3 tankards and a plate of bread and butter. A few loose blonde hairs escaped from her cap, complementing the harried look on her face. She glanced at Charlotte, then back again. Charlotte held up her reticule, and Mary nodded, putting up a finger to signify she would return shortly. Charlotte nodded and took a seat at the nearest empty table in the corner, setting her reticule beside her. She might be the artist behind the caricatures, but without Mary listening for gossip at the Crown and Castle, she would have very little material at all. Charlotte gazed around the room, identifying a few familiar faces. Familiar, that was, to her. Lord Marchwood and Mr. Jameson wouldn't know her from Eve. "Miss Mandeville?" Charlotte knew to whom the voice belonged without having to look the innkeeper in the eye, but she did so despite that, out of politeness. With his ruddy complexion and dark, though receding hair, Mr. Digby smiled at her. "I hoped we would see you today," he said. "Have you brought—" She nodded, glancing around to ensure no one was listening. "May I see it?" After a moment's hesitation, Charlotte opened her reticule and pulled out a folded paper, trying not to betray her nerves as she handed it to him. If he disliked the last drawing, he would loathe this one. Mrs. Gattenby, surrounded by a crowd of both dogs and husbands. The woman seemed to collect and lose both things at an alarming rate. Mr. Digby took it and unfolded it.